Hello. So I'm hanging out here in my basement trying to make a little demo video of how this might help some people trying to move their content from classroom to online. Made a few assumptions here. One, I tried to keep the technology as simple as possible. So what I'm using is a laptop with a webcam, an HDMI cable, and just plugged into my basement TV. I do have my headphones here just because the audio is a little bit better coming out of the mic that's closer to my mouth, but it's you could use the built-in mic from the laptop. I also just kind of made the assumption that because we're changing things midstream, that you already have your PowerPoint slides ready to go. You've already kind of figured out your lecture, and you're used to standing up at a podium with a screen behind you and getting discussion from the class. If I was going to design an online course from scratch, would I do it this way? Probably not. But because we're sort of midstream here, working with what you have rather than trying to reinvent everything halfway through the semester or a little bit more than halfway through the semester and pushing it to online, I think using what you have in the format that you have and then kind of modifying it to move it online might be the easiest way to go. This is also just for kind of lecture and discussion, so obviously wouldn't really work for labs in this format and not for evaluations, not for assignments, but trying to take what you're familiar with, what you're used to, having the screen behind you, your PowerPoints are ready to go, you're in front of a classroom and having some discussion, tried to replicate that as best as I could with really simple technology. So this is the first kind of demo video of it. I'd like to do another one that's a little bit more polished, but if this makes sense, if there's some use to this, then I'll change things around and make that happen. So you can see I have a slide deck behind me. The way I've set this up is I have, right now I'm looking at my laptop, just regular laptop. It's sitting on a stool pointed at me with my TV behind me. Like I said, I'm just hanging out in my basement. I have an HDMI cable going from the laptop to the TV. So, obviously not this one, but typical HDMI cable. And I have the screen set to extended rather than duplicated. So I'm actually looking at the YouTube stream right now on my laptop screen, but the extended desktop is behind me. So you can see my mouse moving around. And I have my slides behind me. So the goal here, like I said, is you have your slides ready to go. You also, you want some discussion as well. So with YouTube, you can set it up. This is live as I'm recording it, but when you watch it, obviously this is a recording of it. But right now I have this set to live. So if somebody clicked on my link, and you would share the link, if somebody clicked in to watch this video, they can also comment on it in real time. So as somebody types in a comment, the screen that I'm looking at, half of it is the YouTube video stream, and half of the screen is the comment section. So in the comments, somebody could ask a question, somebody could contribute, somebody could say something, and I'll see that right away, and I'll be able to respond to it. I could type back, or I could just verbally answer the question, if that makes sense. So like I said, pretty simple setup. I wanted to keep this really, really low tech. The tools that I'm using, laptop, HDMI cable, screen, my TV. My laptop is sitting on a stool. I have a lamp in front of me just so there's a little bit more light on myself. And I have just a wireless mouse to click through the slides, but you could use whatever you wanted to, just plug in a USB mouse or just use the keys. Some tips in general, you might want to publish the slides in advance if you can. So put the slides on Blackboard or wherever else you could, your students could access them. Just like any other class, make a list and kind of keeping yourself on track as to what you're going to do and how you're going to move through it. Works a little bit better if the camera is higher up. as close to eye level as possible. If the room you're in is empty, that's a little bit better for noise. I don't know if you can hear my snoring dog in the background right now, but that's what that is. So if the room is empty, it might be a little bit better. And like I said, if you have I just have a regular pair of headphones here, and I'm using that microphone to pick up my voice, but you could just use the built-in mic as well. I don't have any fancy cameras. I don't have any fancy equipment. It's literally just the webcam that's built into the laptop. A couple other things. You might need to sign into YouTube or create a YouTube account to get this going. Well, you will need to have one. So if you don't have one currently, you would need to create one. There's no cost in creating a YouTube account. Those are free. If you're going to do this live, then you would want to share the link beforehand, either to Blackboard or somewhere else where your students could see it, and that way they could in real time be there with you. Now the benefit of this is that you can record this after the fact, so even if somebody's not able to be there at the exact same time, they could watch it after the fact and they could contribute, or they could ask questions. It's better if they ask questions live, but they could somehow interact later on. So just a little recap. Like I said, I have the slides behind me, and if I mouse over, I can just kind of click through. Depending on the background of the slides, it might the camera itself might adjust in order to compensate the different amount of brightness. But let's say we were going through and you're talking about your slides and somebody asks you a question and you could respond to the question, moving through like you normally would. The text is a little bit small, but like I said, you'd probably publish the slides anyway, so somebody could be following along with the slides as you're talking. Okay, so again, this is a really simple, really rough kind of first crack at something that might be useful. My goal here is to try to help people out as much as I can in moving their content online, if that's the direction they want to go, with two main things in mind. One, keeping technology pretty simple, and two, not trying to reinvent all of your lectures and lesson notes. Again, if this is helpful, let me know and I will change it up and put something together that's more polished before the discussion on Tuesday. Okay, thanks a lot.